Everyone, I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Health, Environment, Civil Rights, and Engagement Committee, or HECR for short, for Monday, January 22nd, 2018. My name is Philippe Cunningham, and I am the chair of this committee. With me at the dais are council members Schrader, Gordon, Johnson, and Jenkins. Let the record reflect we have a quorum. On our consent agenda, we have only one item. It is the Public Health Advisory Committee appointments. We are going to be approving the following council reappointments to the Public Health Advisory Committee for 2-year terms starting January 1st, 2018 and ending December 31st, 2019. The first is KJ Starr, Seat 2, Ward 2. 2 is Sarah Jane Keaveney, Seat 9, Ward 9. Margaret Peggy Reinhardt, Seat 10, Ward 10. Cindy Hillier, representative for Minneapolis Public Schools. And Craig Hedberg, representative for the University of Minnesota School of Public Health. Do committee members have any questions? All right, seeing no questions, I move approval of this item. All those in favor of the motions, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and that item is approved. Next, I have passed out a draft schedule for this committee for 2018. So you'll see it here where it says draft across it. Staff and leaders from the Health, Civil Rights, and Neighborhood and Community Relations Department, as well as the Office of Sustainability, will be presenting an overview of their lines of business, their programs and initiatives, and the boards and commissions and cultural community specialists will also present to this committee. The purpose of this structure is, for the next year, is to create a learning environment in which this committee in which we as policymakers have the necessary information and expertise to make sound decisions, to operationalize equity work throughout the city of Minneapolis, to improve appreciation of staff work. Having been a former staffer, I know we can always use a little bit more information and to be able to be appreciative of that work, and to increase our understanding of the work that's reporting to our committee so that we as decision makers can make effective budgetary investments. So colleagues, please look over this outline and schedule. If there are any suggested changes, please get those over to our office before 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Next, we have committee members. There is a member of the public present who has requested to address the committee today regarding the 1988 High-Risk Sexual Conduct Ordinance 219500. Mr. Meering, please come forward to the mic. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Council. My name is John Mehring, M-E-H-R-I-N-G. I live at 1729 6th Street Northeast.
Thank you, Mr. Meering. And just so you know, you have 3 minutes for public comments. And the clerk, will you have the time? We can. Oh, never mind. So we will not have a timer, but we will keep an eye on the time. So the floor is yours.
So the reason I'm here, part of it is because I came here in 2014 as a transplant from California, from San Francisco. And as someone who has been very involved in the HIV/AIDS epidemic there and became involved in it here, I've had a very keen interest in the history of the early AIDS epidemic in particular. That is the years between 1981 and 1996 or 1997. So this particular ordinance, I'm not here to debate the ordinance. It's a high-risk sexual conduct ordinance. It was passed, as Councilmember Cunningham indicated, almost 30 years ago, April 1, 1988. It's an ordinance that is intended to regulate certain premises, buildings, and structures in order to eliminate the possibility of the spread of or infection by contagious disease. Now, this is the part that I'm particularly concerned about today. I'm quoting, "The sexually transmittable disease of acquired immune deficiency syndrome, currently found to be irreversible and uniformly fatal, is found to be a particular danger to persons in this community meaning Minneapolis." So what I'm asking for you to consider today and the immediate future is that you consider deleting all references specific to quote unquote this disease. This disease in connection to this ordinance means acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And I would suggest that you leave all other language in place until you decide what to do with the rest of the language, whether to keep it as is, whether to delete it subsequently, or to change it. So what I'm particularly interested in is deleting all references to AIDS in this ordinance because I think that it's not accurate and it's not helpful in connection to fighting this epidemic. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Meering, for your comments today. Just to share, I too agree that we need to begin addressing the stigmatization and criminalization of folks living with HIV/AIDS. And so thank you for bringing this conversation before us so that we can see here 30 years ago this language made sense at the time, and now we know that HIV is no longer inherently fatal and uniformly fatal. So thank you very much for that. And so our next, Council Member Gordon, please.
Well, I think we are overdue for looking at the ordinance and fixing it, so I appreciate that. I also wanted to comment on the previous item, the kind of the work plan, but I don't know if there was something else on the agenda you wanted to move.
Nope, that's it.
I appreciated this outline and this timeline. I think it's very helpful. It's helpful for us to have as committee members, also I think for staff. And I think it also might be valuable for the public to have. And since we talked about it at the committee meeting, I was thinking maybe it should be posted and linked on the website. And certainly as a draft, I know we're not approving it. My understanding is we aren't. So, and I'm open to approving it if we want to. But so maybe I could request that it gets posted on the council agenda, and then the public could also be aware of this timeline and everybody else who's involved in those groups.
Right, thank you, Councilmember.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated, and I'll be sure to get that over to you as well. Any other questions? Yes, Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you. I just wanted a little bit more clarity from Mr. Meering. I'm concerned that erasing the language HIV and AIDS, the disease is still impacting numerous amounts of people, and yes, it is a chronic health concern now, not a death sentence, but I'm just trying to get a more clarity on what the rationale is for removing the language.
Yeah, come on up to the microphone.
I think that's an excellent question. And what I would say is that I am very committed to doing everything possible to eliminate this epidemic. However, I think that in so many ways it has to be treated in the context of, say, infectious diseases, or as the language here is written, contagious diseases. I think that HIV, along with several other sexually transmitted diseases, including hepatitis, just for your information, I have both HIV and hepatitis B. It's hard for me at times to separate out diseases when infectious diseases as a whole are very concerning. I do not think it's helpful to single out a particular disease as indicating that that is what we need to most specifically focus on. And that's why I would like it to stand as is until a decision has been made to do something about that ordinance if it is revised or deleted. But that in the meantime, we're coming up to 30 years of this ordinance with this language in place. And people that I talk to feel like it's contributing to the stigma that we face in our society, and that is reason enough to delete it, and hopefully can be deleted before April 1, 2018, the 30th anniversary of the passage of the ordinance. But I agree with you. I definitely see it as an issue that needs to be addressed on multiple fronts. But I do not believe in my heart of hearts that this language is at all helpful. Hopefully that answers it.
Thank you for that clarity. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Jenkins. Thank you, Mr. Meering. Any other questions? All right, so our next meeting for the Hecker Committee will be on Monday, January 29th, 2018 at 1:30 here in the City Council chambers. Seeing no further business before this committee, we are adjourned.